And these new rules are coming at us really fast. You mentioned it at the top of the show, 3 big ones. The biggest one that really went viral this weekend is the pitch clock.
I don't think people really expect, as you said, it just got thrown at. I don't think people expected it to be like, whoa,
I didn't either.
Happened really quickly.
I didn't either. I think the big viral moment, obviously, the Boston and Atlanta game, like 9th inning, bases loaded, tied game, full count, called out. I think that needed to happen early for everyone to understand it's here and you got a month to figure it out.
So here's what I'll say about it. I think the way we see it right now, and just to explain to everybody what's happening, three rules have been implemented. The main one being the pitch clock, and then there's larger bases, and then there's a restriction of the shift. The pitch clock being the most in your face and obvious. With nobody on base, the pitch clock is at 15 seconds. And there's a lot that goes into this pitch clock. It's not just for the pitcher to throw a strike or to throw a pitch. The batter also needs to be in the box by 8 seconds, which is pretty quickly. And I'm gonna go over here to this batter's box right behind me in a few minutes and do a demo and showcase just how fast that is. But this rule is right up in our face. And according to Major League Baseball, in the first weekend of games, there were 69 pitch timer violations through the first 35 games. 69 violations. Now, the result of all of this has been exactly what I think baseball wanted, which was faster games and more action involved. Through those first 35 games, the average time of game is 2 hours and 39 minutes, whereas the average the year prior in spring training was 3 hours and 1 minute. So, I mean, we're talking about a 22 to 23 minute difference in the average game time. Only like 6 games even went over 3 hours, and they were all under 3 hours and 6 minutes. So, there's a lot of star player reactions here, kind of all over the map, but my immediate reaction that I want to make sure is clarified here is we're not cutting out action of the game. It's not like we're taking this game and cutting out action. In fact, there's more action, and we're just cutting out the pitcher walking around the mound for a minute and a half before throwing another pitch, and the batter stepping out and taking a long time. So this is a tweet from Jack Harris. Says, pretty unanimous reaction from Dodgers coaches and players just now. Pitch clock wasn't too tough to adjust to and definitely felt like it sped up the game. So quite the impact. If you were watching games over the weekend, it's impossible not to notice. It's in your face. It's quick. It's action-packed. And I don't believe what we see right now is what we're going to be seeing in the playoffs this year. I think it's just, hey, we're serious about this, and we're gonna call it like preseason NFL games. When refs are told, hey, we're going to call this a lot this year, they do it in the preseason, and then come regular season playoffs, it's a little more lenient, but it's aggressive.
Anything that's new and a big change, especially with timing, right? Because a lot of the time, as you mentioned, pitchers are taking a minute and a half to walk around the mound. Batters are taking their time, taking a timeout the moment they get into the box. Baseball needed to speed up the game. That was the biggest thing. We want more offense, and we need to speed up the game. And we are seeing just in the first weekend how big of an impact this new rule is having, and it's going to take time to adjust. Anything that's new is going to take time, and you're going to be 50-50. I've got so many comments of people hating it, thinking it's ruining the game, and people who love it because it's speeding up the game.
I did a Twitter poll.
Yeah.
I want to see I did a Twitter poll, and it only gave people 2 options.
Yes.
I said, through the first 3 days of Major League Baseball games, the pitch clock has been in existence. You can only pick one of these 2 options. Do you love it or do you hate it?
Yeah.
And I just checked on it. So what do you think the results of the poll would have been?
Just going through my comments when I asked for feedback, I should have done a poll. It was pretty 50-50 on hate and love.
54% love.
Yeah.
46% hate is where it is as of right now through a few thousand votes. So that seems to be the consensus. And to me, look, here's my view on it. One, the fact that it's 54-46 at this point is really good news.
Yeah.
I think this is the way baseball is going to be. Baseball is always the last sport to evolve. Baseball is stuck in its ways in many ways, and it has to evolve. It has to change with the times, and it is finally starting to do that. And you're going to get people that absolutely hate it. And you're going to get those people that say, hey, I paid money to go see a game and now you're cut. Okay, if you paid to go see a pitcher walk around a mound and
that one made me laugh,
scratch his head for a minute and a half, then what are you really there for?
Yeah.
So I'm for it, but I'm not there. It needs to evolve and it needs to change. It's not perfect.
No, nothing's going to be. And this is the first weekend that we're actually seeing it happen.
Right.
And I know you have a very personal experience to this rule. And you tweeted, was it a couple weeks ago, the worst call of all time? And you have a personal experience with this rule.
I was not only I was the first player in the history of professional baseball to have a violation of the pitch clock. And I use violation very lightly. It was an awful call. Yeah. I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember the name of the umpire, too. His name was Justin. I remember that because nobody likes it, Justin. So it was the first day it was in existence ever. And I get into the box. It's a big part of the game. Second and third, 2 outs is a 2-2 counter or 1-2 counter, something like that. My team was down a run. I get in the box. I'm doing what I normally do, and I'll explain it. I can show it behind me in a couple of minutes, but I was doing what I normally do, and all of a sudden the umpire just comes out and says, hey, time out. You're out, and points at me. And I was like, what do you mean I'm out?
You were in the box.
Right.
You were ready to go.
I was looking at the pitcher, and he wasn't even set yet, and I got called out. And this ended up being used as an example and sent to Major League Baseball. And they're like, well, you can't do this. It's pretty bad. And here's the video here in the wall. It was the worst call in history besides maybe the Armando Galarraga not perfect game call at first base. But I was dumbfounded. And the only thing I'm mad at here is that I didn't get thrown out. I never got thrown out of a game in my life. And this was the time to do it. I mean, come on. If there was ever a time.
You should have flipped the bat.
We're gonna see some stuff this year, and there's some star players that have come out talking about this, kind of all over the map. First of which being Max Scherzer, who said, "I can work extremely quick now, and I can work extremely slow. There's another layer here to be able to mess with the hitter's timing." He likes it a lot. Aaron Judge, I like it. I think you can kind of play around with it a little bit. I think it definitely speeds up the game. Anything that kind of keeps the pitcher moving and on the go and hopefully keep him out of breath, I'm looking forward to it. Kyle Tucker of the Houston Astros said he felt rushed and that it benefits the pitcher. These guys are the best pitchers in the world, and you're giving them more of an advantage, and you have to rush into the box. It takes away some of the thought process that goes into hitting. I think it could maybe be a little longer instead of stepping out and stepping right back in the box. Dansby Swanson, new Chicago Cub. The pitch clock is pretty freaking quick. Proposed that it be moved to 18 seconds instead of 15 seconds with nobody on base. I'm hoping it's not the end-all be-all, he said. I think that there's definitely some tweaks that can be made, but it's going to be a change for everybody. We can sit here and complain about it, but at the end of the day, we're just going to have to embrace it and be able to put together our best performance because it doesn't seem to be changing anytime soon.
Exactly.
That's kind of my thoughts. So
let's see you.
I also need to explain the worst call ever.
Okay.
So we'll do both. I'll head over here. I'll explain this new rule and just show how fast 15 seconds really can be. So let me grab a bat here.
Now explain when it starts too.
Yeah. Okay. Let's head over.
When does the 15 seconds start?
First off, my call. Let me just clarify to everybody that thinks I was actually not alert and ready. I was in the box, right? And I was doing my same routine. I was waving the bat like this, looking at the pitcher, and all of a sudden the guy comes out and tells me I'm out for not being alert and ready. And I'm like, how alert and ready can I be when I'm waiting for the guy to get his sign and I'm staring right into his soul?
You're in the box.
Of course, I'm in the box. It was ridiculous. But I digress. That was probably 6 years ago at this
We'll
point.
let it go.
All right, this new rule, okay? So I'm in the box, okay? Pitch comes in, I swing and miss, whatever it may be. 15 seconds goes on the clock, and that timer starts when the pitcher gets the ball back. So pitcher gets the ball back, I step out and get my sign, okay? Got my sign. Guess what? By the time I step back in the box,
5 seconds.
The timer's at 7 seconds. So you really have to change things up. So let's start this timer over now. Let's put it at 15 seconds. Pitcher gets the ball back. Okay, start the timer. I get my sign, okay, take a deep breath, I get back in, I have one time to wave my bat up, and next thing you know, timer's at 8 seconds, and I have to be looking at the pitcher. This timer, 15 seconds, the pitcher has to throw the ball by 0, right? I, as in the batter, have to be looking at the pitcher and in the box by 8 seconds. That's not my favorite part of this rule, but I do understand it because it's you have to be ready for the pitcher to be able to throw the ball at some point. I'm kind of the belief of Dansby Swanson, whereas I'm fine with this. With a runner on base, the timer goes to 20 seconds. With nobody on base right now, it's at 15 seconds. So let me show you a very easy example here, and something that came to mind is for me, who was a hitter my whole career. Let's say I'm facing the guy that throws 100 miles an hour, which happens all the time in baseball, right? I'm in here, I'm getting ready to swing. Oh my God, it's 100 miles an hour up and in at my head. I fall down on the ground. Pitcher gets the ball back. Timer starts. I'm coming to terms with the fact that my life just flashed in front of my eyes. Am I still alive? Okay. Yes. Let me get my sign. Okay. Oh my God, I'm not even close to ready again. So this 15 seconds is really only 7 seconds for the batter. You have 7 seconds once the pitcher catches the ball to get your sign, do what you need to do, and get in the box by that 8-second mark. I would like to see that more like 18 seconds. There's a lot of guys that come to mind here. One, Nomar Garciaparra would have never survived in baseball if this were the case years ago. But now I saw it the other day. Pete Alonso is a big meditation guy. In between every pitch, he steps out, does a little meditation. He can't do that anymore. So what we saw the other day, he was leading off the inning. He sprinted in from first base, got his helmet on, and went on deck and did his meditation on deck. So this is going to be something that everybody's going to have to adjust to. I would probably rather see it at about 18 seconds. But again, I do understand everything going on here, and it's going to be a learning curve for everybody involved because 15 seconds really is a lot. One thing I would like to add about this rule, I think there's a lot of factors here that nobody's thinking of yet because it's spring training and it's 80 degrees and it's beautiful. But let's say it's pouring down rain. Pouring down rain outside. My helmet's dripping with rain. My bat is soaking wet. I need to wipe it off somewhere in between my legs, get it dry. Next thing you know, I do that. Let's run through it right now. We got the timer. Let's start it over. Okay, 15 seconds. I swing and miss. Ball back to the pitcher. He catches it. Okay, my helmet's wet. I need to dry my bat off. Okay, I need to get the sign. I need to rub some dirt on my hands a little bit, dry off my hands. Get the sign, okay, step in the box, boom, let's go. 3 seconds on the clock. 3 seconds left. That's strike one.
But you have to remember, every single player is dealing with this. Every single batter, every single pitcher. So everyone has to adjust. This is something new that every single player has to adjust to.
I agree. And I think, and I do agree with that. I think there's factors here. And my point being, one, I would like to see it for right now with nobody on base at 18 seconds. And two, I would like to see a world in which, and we see it sometimes in the NFL, when something happens, we see the ref bump back up the play clock. Hey, bump it back up, put it at 25 seconds. I think we're going to need a little bit of feel from umpires, which is something I'm very worried about because umpires don't have any feel, and they're the absolute worst. And the problem is, over the last 2 or 3 years, umpires, I feel like, have gotten more and more egos involved here. So now we're just giving umpires another objective, okay, this is of the umpire's discretion. Oh, great. When was the last time they got anything right under their own discretion? I mean, so now we're going to see, okay, the timer hit 8 seconds. Okay, well, this umpire's having a bad day, and you yelled at me my last at-bat, so, it just hit 8 seconds, strike one. And then we're going to have umpires that until it turns to 7 seconds. It's going to be a whole thing. We're going to need to figure it out. But as I just demonstrated, this was my first time running through it as well on this show. I'll do it one more. I'll go through my exact normal routine and see where I'm at. I was pretty quick. I got in. I'd be here. Let's go through a swing and miss. Pitcher gets the ball back. I'd step out, take a second, get my sign, okay, step back in, touch the plate, look up at the pitcher, and that's 8 seconds on the dot.
On the dot.
It is very, very quick.
It's going to take adjusting.
It is.
So now that you've taken a couple practice swings and situations with this new rule, what would you grade it?
So my grade here, I'm going to grade all of these
Yeah.
new rules, this being the most prominent. My grade on the pitch clock rule as it sits right now is a B+. I like it.
Thanks for watching. If you love Flippin Bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.